Let me say what up. Yo. Salute. I appreciate everybody for stopping by and tuning in. We got a new exclusive series coming to YouTube right now, right? Never been done before. But I figured besides me coming up here all the time and pretty much repeating and regurgitating the same type of information on these profitable days that we have, I figured, you know what? Let's get some real life people up here. Let's get some real life testimony, right? And let's bring some new content to YouTube. Prior to this, you don't really see a lot of feedback from actual members of the community. Usually it's just the host talking. And, people want to hear from different voices. People want to learn about the journeys and the things that you experience when, coming across this work. So I figured, you know what? That's exactly what we're going to do. I'm calling this, and it actually lines up perfectly because the name of my Patreon is called FLIPNdaSCRIPTsports, right? So this is basically going to be the name of this series that we're doing right now is, Flipping the Script, episode 1. You know what I'm saying? And it makes perfect sense to hear directly from the horse's mouth, right? Some of the ups and downs, some of the peaks and the valleys, just overall experiences, because, a wise man learns off of the experiences of other people, right? Instead of having to endure the pitfalls and the downswings and the mistakes that possibly could be made, you can learn from what other people have done and just avoid those mistakes, right? Because we all know avoiding losses, avoiding just negative impacts to the bankroll is very, very important in this specific business that we're in. Very, very important. So today we're going to get into a very, very new concept on YouTube. And basically this episode is just going to be tapping into the real life people, right? The real life members of the community, what it's really like dealing with the swings of sports betting, sports decoding, sports handicapping, and just real world accounts, right? So hopefully you guys are appreciating, this new series that I'm bringing to you guys. Get them likes up, continue to support us. Once the video goes up, repost the stream, tell a friend to tell a friend, shout us out on Twitter, Instagram. All support and love is genuinely appreciated, and it's needed at this point, man, because what we're doing on a very, very consistent basis is waking people up, right? We're waking the sheep up, the people who support these professional sports teams, these sports leagues. And, what we're doing is exactly the name of my Patreon, right? We're flipping the script. What was intended, for a business to take advantage of the people is what we're doing. We're turning it 360 degrees and taking advantage of the people that think that they pulled one over on us, right? But that's not really the case, right? And we're still a small community, but we're growing daily. And, videos like this are just that much more important. And we're going to get into this specific person's journey, right? It's very, very unique. In many cases, it's really, really unbelievable and remarkable. And, we're going to tap in and ask this gentleman a bunch of questions. And hopefully, you guys feel free to give some feedback in the chat as well. And, we'll interact with the chat at some point during the video, But I didn't want to get up here and talk for a long period of time. It's really about my guests. It's really about this new series that we're starting over here called Flipping the Script, episode 1, when we're hearing exactly from the sports bettors, the people making the moves, the people laying the action, the people decoding the games, right? And this is really, really crucial. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest up. Be very, very respectful, right? Be polite. Appreciate, because it takes a lot of courage to get up here and not just speak about, your journey and your experiences, but also we're well aware of, we're enemy number 1 right now and what we're doing, right? So just continue to be very, very respectful and supportive of not just this guest, but any guests that we have in the future. And, just treat people the same way you would want to be treated. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest up. And, yeah, man, salute. And I appreciate him for joining us. So, Dre, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yo.
Yo,
everybody say, give a big shout out to my man, Dre. Salute, congratulations. Let's get some love in the chat going for my guy for joining us, taking some time out of his day to come, show some love to the stream. So how's it going, man? How's everything?
I'm good, good. What's going on, man? Up to the community. I hope y'all doing good. I hope y'all been eating good so far. Let's get it.
Exactly, man. And that's what we're here to talk about, right? The experience, what's been going on over this over this entire journey, right? And everybody's journey is different. So we're gonna mainly speak about yours without getting too specific. But as I preface before we even got you on the channel, man, some of the things that you've been able to do are very, very impressive. I don't want to give it away too soon, but we'll start out with the basic questions. Is just let the community know how long you personally have been sports gambling. Period. Like how long have you been doing this?
I've been sports betting since 2015.
Wow. Okay. So you got some time in the game.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. 2015. So we're going on 7 years now. All right. That's a good sample size, right? It's not a small sample size. That's a good sample size. And what sports mainly have you decided like you're gonna attack usually?
Mainly basketball and football. Just
basketball, football. Okay. Basketball and football. So in your experience with the 7 years that you've been doing this, now I want to talk about the years before you became aware of the numbers and gematria and stuff like that. So we'll talk about the beginning. What was your experience like just betting these games as not the average sports bettor, because I'm sure you know a good amount about sports, right?
Right.
So I wouldn't call you the average sports bettor, but let's just say as a typical bettor, what was your experience like before learning the numbers?
So before, trying to use my level of expertise to to pick these games, going with my gut, okay. gut picks, and when I started out all right. I guess if you could call that beginner's luck, because I was doing all right. I was hitting a few underdogs here and there, just going off basic. Oh, this team is better than this team, so they could pull it off. This and that, they're due for one. All types of looking up some certain stats just to see what plays out, what averages out is gonna play out, stuff like that. So yeah, no type of nothing, just my knowledge should happen.
Okay. And before you became aware of the numbers, so let's just say for like the first couple of years, like was it a profitable experience for you over that time period?
It was profitable, but man, let me tell you, I, I was doing pretty good, but man, like it was like a roller coaster. It went up high, but then once I got that high, it came crashing down, bro. Like as much as I won, slowly but surely, I started, the losses started piling on and on and on until eventually, whatever I made, I was back to square one.
Wow. Okay. So basically, what you're trying to say is like it balanced out. So even though you might have won in the beginning, let's just say by the end of the year or by the end of the season, you pretty much were back to where you started, right?
Exactly.
But over that time period, right, you've put in a lot of energy, you put in a lot of time. It's taking a toll on your body, on your life, because let's be honest, like when you're losing games, right, everything is lovely when you're winning games, but when you're losing games, you don't want to be around nobody. You know what I'm saying? You're cursing people out. You don't like going to work, right? Everything about your life, it just becomes that much more sour and negative, right? So just not even looking at the monetary aspect of it, but just looking at just the toll that it's taken on you as a person and your quality of life, that's a negative thing, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, at that time I was working. So when you keep losing and losing, then you got to go into work all day. It's like, man, the headaches that I had, bro, it was crazy.
and it's tough to hear that from you because I know you personally. I know you're a positive person, right? You're probably one of the funniest people I know. So to hear you say some of those things, it's like it's like the total opposite of the person that I know you for. But that's basically the sports betting world taking its toll on you, right, as an individual.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, it'll turn you into somebody that you're not when you're losing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really the point of what I'm trying to say is because there's definitely some pitfalls in this business that we've decided that we're going to try and take advantage of, and it does take a toll on your lifestyle, you as a person, and that's really some of the things that people don't even understand. They just look at the money wise, like, I lost money or whatever the case may be. But we all understand what money is, right? It's a piece of paper that has value because you say it does and I say it do. So because we agree on that, it has value. But if we woke up one day and we really understood that it doesn't have any value, then things would change, right? But that's a whole nother conversation. We're just gonna talk about the sports thing. We'll stay on track with that. All right. So you talked a little bit about your experience and your success and your profit and everything before you became across the numbers. So during that time period when you're betting the games, right? And as you say, you're looking at the games, you're researching, and you're like, okay, I'm a sports person. I know this team should definitely take care of business against this team, right? Did you ever think to yourself that like something was going on, like that professional sports could actually be rigged?
You know what? I had like that thought back of my mind, but I had no real evidence to back up that claim.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like such a far-fetched thing that pro sports could be rigged, like an entire season or just like a game in general. It's like it's so many variables. I'm like, yeah, I'm just that's impossible. Like to me, possible. Like that's wrestling. That's wrestling's thing. That's what they.
Yep. And that's one of the many obstacles that I come across when I'm trying to promote this work and get this work out there is that type of mentality is that, this seems just too impossible to be done, right? The fact that professional sports is not legitimate, like that's like finding out that Santa Claus is not real, right? Or the Tooth Fairy, like, like when you found that out when you were a kid, it was devastating, right? So people, they act the same way when it comes to their sports teams and their sports franchises and stuff like that. But okay, so you say you kind of felt a little bit of like maybe it can be, but you didn't have no proof, so you were kind of like on the fence about it. Okay, right. Cool, no problem. So I remember a conversation that we had when we came across each other, and when I first started speaking to you about the work and about the numbers and just how these things possibly can be rigged. What was your first experience during the conversation that we had?
All right, before
honestly,
but when you were explaining it, it was interesting. But like I'll just say this: like when you came by, like just your presence, like your peace and your calmness, like that was like there was no faking in that. It just came off, and I felt it. You know what I mean? That right there in my mind, I'm like, this guy, he's doing this, and he's just at such a calm place, such a place, like your vibe. I picked up on it. I'm like, yo, I want to be like that. And then when you start explaining, the numbers, and I'd say this, the one thing that you pointed out, it was the college basketball championship game. Funny that is today.
Mm-hmm. You see how the universe works, right?
Crazy. So when Baylor won the championship, right, that couple years back, and you had that same year, Elgin Baylor had passed. And 86 years old when he passed. And that big number with death. And then that was how much points they scored in the championship game to win. That right there was like, okay, like you had me there. And, and once you started explaining other things that happened, that's when it really piqued my interest. I'm like, okay, I gotta really start to get into this because this is interesting.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that impressed me about the conversation we had was because obviously I've had these conversations all over the place, right? I've been trying to introduce this work to so many people, so many of our mutual friends that we have or whatever. And the information has never been received the way that you took it in as a first experience.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that let me know personally that, like, you know what? This dude has the potential to be a very valuable member of this community because of the way you process the information initially, because of the way you thought about it, right? And I told you that since day one. I was like, you know what? the way you're responding to it is it's kind of like something I've never experienced, because usually I get the negative feedback, right? I get the yo, you're crazy, you full of shit, blah blah blah. Those are the typical responses. But you let me say my piece. You thought about the information as an intellectual thinker, and you connected it yourself, and you're like, you know what, this kind of does sound legitimate. You know what I'm saying? So, I always give you credit for that, because that's definitely an experience that's really in the minority. That's not really a majority experience. So I always give you credit for that. And I want to say that on here too. That's definitely one of the things that sets you apart from like the typical person that I speak to.
Appreciate it.
No, absolutely, definitely. So going back to that conversation when we were first going back and forth, and we were just talking about it, and you were telling me a little bit about your experience, and I was letting you know about what I've been doing for these last couple of years. Do you remember like how long we were talking, like how long that conversation was?
That was probably a 3 hour conversation we had.
Exactly. So it's a 3 hour conversation, and prior to that, we never actually spoke about this before. That was the first time we spoke, and it really started out as a casual conversation, and then it just carried on to a 3 hour conversation.
Yeah.
And we basically exchanged information, and at that point, I want to say that was in 2021, right?
Right.
Okay. So that was in early 2021, I think summertime 2021, early summer. And at that point, after I was done saying what I was saying, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna send you a copy of the book, right? Zach's book. I want you to read it for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want you that'll be the first step. So then you take it from there, and then you can actually start researching, applying the work, and doing it for yourself. And at that point, I pretty much washed my hands as far as like not saying babysitting you, because I never babysat you, but as far as giving you the work, and I basically let you inform yourself. I was like, if you want to do it, it's up to you, but I'm not going to force you to do it, right? Yeah. And you took it upon yourself to educate yourself, read the book, read what you had to read, right? And you say, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to better my situation, right? For me to, get these motherfuckers back for all these years of bullshit, right? Actually, why don't you explain it? So what was your mindset after we were done with that conversation and I gave you the book? Like, what were you thinking at that point?
Oh, at that point, my mind, it was just, I was so curious, like what this knowledge was. But shout out to Zach too, man, for him to even put that information together. That whole book is it's insane, bro. Like, I advise anybody to read that book. He went through, I'm talking about literally every important event in life.
Yeah.
It's that book, and he breaks it down, and the evidence that he has to back it up is you can't deny it.
Yep.
So yeah, once I got that, and that was my motivation too. I was like, I thought about all the losses that I had, and I'm like, if I could know this knowledge, I can apply this knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm getting them back. I'm gonna have a great year coming up, and it was perfect too. It was perfect timing. It was just around the time football was starting, basketball was starting back up. So I was like, you know what? Just try to study and learn this thing in time for this upcoming season. It's on.
Exactly. And as you said, it was perfect timing, because you had a couple of months, I believe about 1 or 2 months, to kind of prepare yourself, get yourself ready for the upcoming seasons, right? And at the same time, you didn't jump in blindly, right? You didn't say, okay, I know a little bit of information now I'm just going to attack it. You actually decided to go about it probably one of the best ways I've ever seen, was inform yourself first, right? Ask a shitload of questions. And we actually had like a couple of meetings, me, you, and like, some other people or whatever. And just throwing ideas back and forth, and not being, embarrassed to ask the correct question, right? When you don't know something, to say, oh, well, let me ask him this, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that takes a certain level of person to be able to do that, because nowadays it's all about ego, right? It's all about pride. Nobody wants, everybody knows everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's like another attribute about yourself that made it very easy for you to get the work, and for me to teach it to you, because you wanted to learn, right? So that's an important part about it too. So after you got the book, right? So let's just say, like, now up until this point, how long have you been researching, and how long have you known about gematria and numbers when it comes to scripted sports at this point?
I'd say this is since last 2021. I say May, June 2021 up till now. That's how long I've known because like I said, I read the book and then I watched your videos and when you break down certain games that you won and you
Yeah,
break down came to that conclusion that why that team won.
yeah.
I was studying that too. That was big for me. Like that really showed me the template of what to do. So yeah, it's been that about long since about May, June 2021 up until now.
Okay, so we'll say about 9 months, right? Give or take a couple of weeks. So 9 months in any field is it, it's not a very long period of time, right? It's less than a year. It's a little bit over half a year. So that's pretty much not even a whole season. It's like a training camp or whatever the case may be. But since you've been able to inform yourself about this work, all right. Now let's talk about your experience since you started applying it, right? When it comes to the scripted sports, just speak mainly about your experience when it comes to decoding the games, right? Now, like how has that been for you when you're sitting down and you're trying to break down these games? How has that been for you when it comes to like coming to a conclusion and just your level of confidence when you're betting and attacking these games? Speak about that.
Oh yeah, it's a complete 360 because there were certain games before two teams that are like even, let's say, like in the records or whatever, the same level of teams. Now knowing this knowledge and using those numbers, when I started to decode, I could see, the numbers, the great riddle, I see which riddle is favoring the team that it favors, and that made it real easy for me to say, okay, this team is going to win. Because before that, I would have probably went the other way and picked the
Yeah,
other team because they were at home. It's a home game; they should win. But after using this gematria, it made a big difference. The numbers, it's real.
yeah. So just talking about your approach to betting these games, it's just like a different level of clarity, right? And confidence using the numbers, right? Okay, cool. And that's good to hear too, because that's really what it's mainly used for, right? To come into to an informed decision, a clear decision. And but let's speak about some of the rituals that you've seen happen over these last, 9, 10 months that you've been not only learning the knowledge, but you've been observing a lot of games as well too, right? So I'm sure you've come across a bunch of different rituals, and I don't know if you want this known to the public, but some of the things that you've been able to come across when attacking like these big underdog teams, I know for example, you were a big attacker of some of the early Orlando Magic games this season, some
Yeah.
of the early Cleveland Cavalier games this season before anybody was on Cleveland's radar. These are some of the games that you attack. So speak about some of the number rituals that you've been able to see when it comes to like just the pattern recognition.
Yeah, so it'll be like for Cleveland, for instance. I remember, there's one game they were big underdog. And I think, let's say for example, they could have picked up their seventh win, and they had a connection to Dallas, the team Dallas. There was a number connection there with them, and they had the date numerology. There was a connection there, and the coach too, the coaching record. I
Mm,
saw those things. I'm like, damn, coach could pick this too. And then on the other side, loss for Dallas that connected to Cleveland. So I'm like, oh man, this is pretty good. And it was solid underdog. I took it and they won. That
yeah.
was that happened a bunch of times, like where the numbers it just clicked together perfectly with that specific day,
Hmm.
Cleveland, and I was a big underdog too.
And these are some of the most important picks and things to really look at as an example, is because when you're picking a favorite or a heavy favorite, it's not great evidence of an actual rigging or gematria playing like a huge part. But when you're picking teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers early this season, the Orlando Magic this season, the Detroit Pistons this season, and you're able to show a number pattern on why this game specifically is going to happen the way you think it's going to happen today, underdogs are the great examples that we can have, right? You know what I'm saying? So, I always commend you because you were on a bunch of these teams early in the season. These dog shit teams, as we know it, or whatever, teams that you should have absolutely no confidence in
For real.
attacking. And even as someone who had recently come into this knowledge, you're learning, you're applying it on the go, but you
Mhm.
still felt such a confidence level to attack these underdogs, right? And that's it, that just lets me know again that you were built for this, right? This is something that I brought, and you immediately clinged on to, and you had a passion for it, and I see it in the work too, because
Yeah.
of the things that you're doing, right? Some of the things that you'll be able to put together, and the games, because not just being correct, but the games that you choose too is very important as well. So the uniqueness of the games that you decided to attack early on in the season let me know that you were studying the work correctly, you were applying it, and it actually made me feel really good because I always wanted that to happen. Like somebody that I've known, like in my inner circle, to actually be able to apply this work. So I'm not there by myself, right? I'm not the only crazy person. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I give you a 100% support and pat on the shoulder for some of the games that you've been able to call. Definitely deserve your credit, especially early on in your journey. You know what I'm saying? It's really next level some of the things that you were doing, and I always feel the need to remind you of that because I've been doing this for a very long time, and I know what's a tough riddle to see. What's not easy. I know
Yeah.
that this work is very, very complex. So you have the mind for it and you're already doing it, right? And it's like a second nature now. You know what I'm
Right. Yeah.
saying?
Definitely.
So now that you've been doing it, a little bit less than a year, what's your journey been like when it comes to, the difference that you've seen from the beginning before you even knew about gematria, and now, like when you're looking at, your win rate, your profit, ROI, without getting too detailed, but what's that journey been like for you since you found out about gematria?
Oh man, it's been night and day, bro. Like before Archery, I was, like I said, either back to square one on my initial investment or I lost money.
Yeah.
Then, and I won't go too crazy, but I'm gonna just say this: since I've been using gematria this season, I started off $200, and that $200 beginning of the football season that just passed.
All right. Don't get too specific because we don't
I'm
want
not.
to.
I'm not
Yeah. Okay.
that $200 right there. That's the money I've been working on up until now. I've never once had to go into my bank account to pull out more money to put into FanDuel or DraftKings, which I know, a lot of y'all do. You probably get paid and say, I'm gonna take a little bit out, throw it in DraftKings or FanDuel. Not once. I
Wow.
got $200 in. I never once went back into my bank account to take out more money to put it into
Wow.
gradually building that $200 from the start of the football season up until now. That's what I've been working with, and I've been building that this entire time.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. I didn't even know that. That's breaking news right now. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, bro.
Wow. Okay. So since the NFL season started September 9th,
Yeah,
okay. So that's about September, October, November, December, 4 months. So 8 months ago, you made an initial investment of $200,
yeah.
and since that investment, you have put no money back into that, but
No,
just continue to give to get returns on that initial investment
right.
of 8 months ago, right?
Eight, yeah,
Wow, that's incredible, bro. Yo, wow, I didn't even know that, bro. You just made my night. The fact that you kept this to yourself up until now, wow,
yeah,
that's breaking news, bro.
yeah.
Breaking news. Wow, an initial investment of $200 had just wow, man. That's a fucking story. You need to.
Telling you, bro. Like, if you ever anybody who says that this work is not is bullshit, it like this. Like, I am living proof that it works. Trust me. If you just take the time out to really get to know it and study it, you can do it too. I did it. Anybody can do it. Trust me.
Wow, bro, that's insane. So, okay, so you speak about like the success that you've had since learning gematria, right? And obviously, there's just like with anything, there's probably been some ups, some downs, right? But for the most part, you're just speaking about you know, uh, on the average is a positive day, right? More positives than negatives, right?
And I've taken L's. Like, don't get me wrong, I've lost here and there. But the thing with that is, when I've lost, I've always made sure that my next bet I won, and whatever I lost on that, I double back that money, and I made double that money on the next bet.
Mm, okay.
Almost.
Wow, that's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you have besides gematria, like you're applying certain strategies, certain tactics and techniques, whatever the case may be. Now we're not gonna ask you to give them away because obviously they're working for you, right? And I know we speak off stream and we speak occasionally, so we like to keep certain things in house or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So definitely, but when you're speaking about some of the the naysayers and the haters, right? A lot of the things that they say is, well, if this is such an easy thing to do in a hustle, why don't you just retire, move to Vegas, and just bet a shitload of money on one game, right? Now, as somebody who's you've had success doing it, what would you say to someone who says that, like, okay, if this is such an easy thing to do, why don't you just take all your money and bet it on one game?
Well, that's where disclaimer has to come in. It gives you an advantage. Now, I'm not gonna say that it's easy like that. It's still still got to do the work and have a proper decode. Make sure you got all your bases covered.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you never bet the house either. That's where you gotta have proper bankroll management. So you never want to put the house on one bet because at the end of the day, it's still a
Yes.
still a gamble. And when it doesn't work out, and sometimes it worked out for me, I've had decent riddles that I thought was gonna work. If I would have put the whole house on it, I'd have lost everything.
Exactly.
So you gotta have good bankroll management. Like that's it.
And that's something that you said right there that's very important. Besides the bankroll management part, which is huge, right? But understanding what this work actually does for you is
Right.
it gives you an advantage, right?
Right.
A high advantage. So you can compare that to like when you walk into a casino, the house has the advantage on every single game, right? Now,
Right.
what this does for us is it takes the house advantage and it gives the advantage to us at a
Right.
very high level, right?
Yes.
So we want to take advantage of that, expose it, right? But at the same time, we're not going to put ourselves in jeopardy of losing that advantage by putting all of our chickens on one single bet, right? Because we understand one thing that's very, very important is we're on the outside looking in, right? We become aware of this knowledge, but we're not in the inner circle, right? I don't study Kabbalah. I'm pretty sure you don't study Kabbalah. Last time I checked, we both were in Jesuits and not Freemasons.
Right.
So we're learning, right?
Exactly.
That's one of the things people need to understand too. Occasionally, you have to put yourself in a position to take the occasional losses, right? Losses are going to happen. But what we promote, what we speak about is minimizing your losses, not compounding them, making one loss turn into two losses, three losses, or whatever the case may be. Minimizing your losses, but always maximizing the potential profit, right? Attacking great decodes, attacking these amazing in-game live opportunities, which you can speak about that as well. So I know, for example, one game you probably remember earlier this season. Why don't you speak about this a case in which you were able to take advantage of a live opportunity?
Oh, yeah, that Orlando. They played Minnesota. They got down a lot, but like we were saying, we trusted the decode. The decode was so good and so solid. We were able to make a live bet. And when they were down 19 or so, it was like a plus 800.
Yeah.
So when you have a good decode like that, you trust your decode and make that live bet, that money line, put some money on that. And you would, if you did that, came back and won because the decode proved true and it was
Yeah.
so good, you would have made a killing, a nice little change you would have got.
And so not only did we take full advantage of the pregame underdog where Orlando was about a plus 175 underdog, right? But because we're aware of gematria, we were able to jump into the game, take advantage of plus 800, plus
Yes.
1,000. So in some cases, people were able to make 12x return on your money in less than a 4 hour period. Now, obviously, I've been in the workforce, earlier in my life. You've been in the workforce at some point in your life. Have you ever come across an opportunity where you can make 13x of your money in less than 4 hours?
Never.
I mean, in a way that's legal. I mean, obviously there's some illegal ways, right? But When we're
Yeah.
talking about legal ways where Uncle Sam can't come knocking on your door and arrest you, 13x return on your money, that's unheard of. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And that's something that, we do pretty consistently. Maybe not every single day with the 13x returns, but, several days of plus, 3x, 5x, 6x, whatever the case may be. And every little bit adds up, right? I'm sure you can speak about, because of what you've been able to do with your initial $200 investment, which is, I mean, pretty unheard of. That's amazing, and again, breaking news here. But where else have you been able to make a $200 investment and put yourself in a better financial position, right? Talk about your mindset nowadays, right? Your quality of life experience since you've been using Gematria. Like, what has it done for you besides the financial gain, right? And the positivity kind of like that is brought to your life. Let's just talk about the lifestyle changes and what it's done for you in that aspect.
It gives me a sense of clarity now. Like, I see the world for what it truly is. Like, this is all, it's all entertainment. It's all to keep us blind to what's really going on. And it's crazy, man. Like, all of these events happen. It's all planned. Like, the Will Smith Chris Rock thing right now. That's a big thing right now.
Yeah,
That was, as soon as it happened, I knew right away. Okay, this is all part of a plan, which it was.
yeah,
But it just gives me a sense of clarity. I'm happy I know this, because now I feel like I know something that, like, not a lot of the rest of the world knows.
hmm
Wish they did. But, it's so hard to get everybody to actually believe in this. But I'm glad I do, because I see everything clear now. Like,
yeah.
I know how to to go about things, avoid certain things now because of this knowledge. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed that we had that conversation. Thankful for Zach, for giving this out. It's life changing.
Exactly, exactly. And um, the work impacts everybody different types of ways. Me, for myself personally, what it's done for me is, I've been able to thankful to this knowledge. And obviously there's a ton of work that we both have put in, right? You have to put the work in yourself. You have to, you have to work extremely hard. It's very complex doing this on a daily basis, understanding the numbers and coming to, a very, very consistent conclusion that ends up being profitable for you. But, for me personally, it's totally changed my life since I come across it. Right now, I'm speaking to my childhood friend right here. I've known him for going on, probably 20, 25 years. And, we grew up in the same neighborhood, same parts of New York, right? And I'm talking to him. Obviously, he's still located in the United States. I'm overseas right now, right? And I go back and forth between overseas and back to the U.S. But it's just given me, the opportunity to be able to take advantage of, actual freedoms, right? My freedom to do what I want, right? But to control my time, to control my life, right? And not be at the mercy and and not being controlled by big corporations or the government or whatever the case may be. And that's what I ultimately wanted for the people close to me and the people that I care about, to have that option, right? You don't want to be in possession of such a powerful knowledge and a beneficial knowledge, but yet you're the only person that's able to take advantage of it, right? That's a scumbag, right? That's a real life scumbag. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So, but also people have to show initiative, which is what you showed,
yeah,
right? And it's very rare when people do show that. So that's why I poured all the knowledge into you. That's why I continue to support you, promote you, and you end up being a great example of what I try to teach people on a daily basis. Whenever somebody, a hater comes across me and I get some negative feedback, whatever the case may be, I think about Dre. You know what I'm saying? I think about Fox. I think about what these people are doing since they came across the knowledge. How they've been able to change things for themselves. 300, 180 degrees, right? And make sports work for them as opposed to the other way around. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. You're a shining example, brother. And I really really appreciate you for coming on here and sharing this experience and your journey, because it's very very unique. And hopefully people who are watching this, they take it in and they apply the same mindset that you had, which is don't be a hater, right? Don't be a negative Nancy every single day. Like, opportunities do come to you as an individual, but you have to be willing to accept them,
yep.
willing to listen, willing to learn. You know what I'm saying? And so why don't you speak about the goals that you have for let's just say like the next year when it comes to using gematria, right? Like, what are some of the things you're looking forward to? or the goals that you're setting for yourself without being like too specific?
Okay, well, one of them is, I eventually want to start my own Patreon like you did.
Mhm.
I want to do that. I want to be able to, help people out, put them in a better, financial position.
Yeah.
I do that too. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, and also, I just want to have my own independent, own freedom. So, I'm making plans, now because I work, but
Yeah.
making plans where I want to be my own boss. That's my goal soon. Working towards that now. Now that I know gematria,
Yeah.
I'm making plans towards doing that. So yeah, that's the big picture for me.
And that's important to have a mindset, to have a goal, to have something to strive towards. And we don't always talk about gematria in our conversations. We talk about real life things, right? We talk about supporting each other as brothers and complimenting one another, right? Because people need to be championed when they accomplishments need to be celebrated. You know what I'm saying? And you need to support one another. And a good support system only makes the entire community, or your inner circle, whatever the case, that much stronger, right? Because you don't want to see one brother shine. You want to see everybody shine, right? And people are going to have their own moments. Obviously, somebody's going to have a better week. Somebody's going to have a better month. But at the same time, if you're building a strong enough inner circle or a team, right, you're always going to be able to be supported by another person if that needs to be the case, right? You're not all going to be at a horrible position at the same exact time in your life, right? So that's why it was really important for me to build out a team for myself, as well as teach certain people this technique, because I knew that there's levels that they can take it to. Everybody's perspective is different and unique,
Yeah,
and that was one of the reasons why I was glad that you took to the work. And already, man, you're making great contributions. From the outside, right? You're doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and that's one thing I want to champion as well. Not a lot of people in my community know you personally because you do a lot of the work on the outside, right? And you do your own thing. But people need to be aware of people like you because, again, you're a shining example of what happens when you apply the work correctly, when you take the time to inform yourself. And, what have you been able to do so far since you learned gematria, right? You've only had one NBA season so far to attack
yep,
and one NFL season,
that's
right?
it.
We haven't even gotten into the playoffs. We haven't even gotten into a whole Major League Baseball season, right? So speak about some of the things that you're looking forward to in the upcoming months and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just said it. MLB, baby. Baseball about to start, so it never stops. When one thing ends, another thing comes along. So it's just
Exactly.
an ongoing cycle, and we just want to continue to be successful at this and continue to build, and be successful. That's the goal.
Exactly. Exactly. And in a short period of time, we've all been, you and myself included, we've been able to do some really, really amazing and incredible things. And like I said, there's only greatness in store for us in the future. And hopefully, people who are listening to this right now, they take it upon themselves to, if my community is not something that you want to join up and be a part of, at least wake up to the point of start understanding gematria and applying it for yourself, right? I'm not begging anybody to become a member. When I came across my brother Dre here, at no point did I push my Patreon platform onto him.
Nope.
At no point, right? He took it upon himself to inform, to learn for himself, to apply. Yes, he definitely did tap in with me, and we collaborated back and forth, information and questions.
Yeah.
But at no point did I force the Patreon down to anybody though, because I never want to be in a position where I beg people to make money. That's not the way I grew up. If you don't want to take advantage of a hustle, we go on to the next person. Am I right?
Right.
You know, and we understand too that this isn't meant for everybody.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
It touches certain people the right way, and the people that are intended to take advantage of it, which is you, thankfully, right? And it's a small minority too. So understanding that not everybody is able to not just understand this and apply it. It's a small minority, but then to be able to take it to the next level, that percentage is even smaller. And me myself, my brother Dre here, we're part of that small percentage, and we're just trying to grow the numbers, right? Because we all understand what sports gambling or what sports betting does to you as a person when you don't know this knowledge, right? It breaks you down.
Yeah.
It makes your life that much harder, right? It turns you from a positive person to a negative person, right? It impacts relationships in a negative way. And, we're just trying to flip that around. We're trying to exactly flip the script, which is the name of this show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, before we get out of here, just if you can tell the people, why did you decide to take part in today's episode, and share your journey and experience so far?
Well, because I thought it was important, just to get out there to show people that it is real. Because I know saying that a lot of people was like, well, you're the only one who wanted to come up here, you know, have proof. Like I'm doing it. I did. So he showed me. He told me about it. I went and took the go ahead to learn it and apply it. And and it's been successful for me, man. I'm telling you, night and day, a complete 360. Vince Carter windmill. Like that's what it's been for me. Like I kid you not, it works. It works. This system is it.
And obviously, you being in sports betting, you probably come across a bunch of different systems, or a bunch of different strategies where people are like, "Yo, this is the winning one," or this one works. All you got to do is pay me $49.99, and I'll
Yeah,
get you. So obviously, a bunch of things that are out there, but to be really honest with the people, like, has this been the most successful strategy and knowledge that you've come across when it comes to sports betting?
100%, 100%,
Okay.
110% actually. Like like I said, this is it. Like there's no other. Like this is it. This is it don't get no better than this. I'm telling you.
And that's basing it straight off of win loss record, your win rate, your profit, your ROI. This is an informed conclusion that you're coming to, right? This is not just something you're just saying for the sake of being on the show or being on my platform.
No, trust me, this is no bullshit. I would have wasted my time up there to feed you a bunch of BS. Trust me, this real. It's definitely real. Trust me.
Okay, and exactly because you put in a lot of time yourself,
Yeah,
learning and being able to be in a position to make decisions. Obviously you wouldn't invest your time or your money in something that wasn't working. So right now you're going on 10 months, in between 10, 11 months of actually learning this work and applying it in a short period of time. You've been able to flip the tables, flip the script on the sports books, the casinos, these sports leagues, and people really need to take heed to what you're saying, and see that it's really something that could be done by obviously we understand not everybody, but if you really inform yourself and have a real willingness to learn, it's something you definitely can take advantage of. And on the most general level, Jamachu will take you from an average gambler to a very successful gambler, right? You increase your percentage exponentially just by learning this knowledge. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? Yeah.
definitely.
So that's just that's some of the things we wanted to speak about. Obviously, man, I really want to say thank you for coming on and just showing some love to my stream, sharing your experience, your journey so far, some of the ups and downs, also your mentality, and hopefully it rubs off on some people the right way. And thank you for giving us some of your time, and I wish you nothing but positivity and success in the future. And we definitely going to tap in real soon. And because we got a big season coming up in Major League Baseball that I'm looking forward to. And obviously, we're coming down to crunch time in the NBA playoffs. So there's a lot of things for us to do. We're still not done. We still continue to work every single day. You know what I'm saying? But if you have some parting words to say, yeah.
Um, yeah. Listen, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like I've been saying, Jamachi is real. Just don't apply it to sports either. Like, of course, it puts you in a position, but other aspects, everyday life, like this, it's being used, it's being applied. To, just learn it, because when you learn it, you'll open your eyes to a lot of things. You'll see that I'm not gonna get too deep, but you'll see that this government is a whole bunch of BS. You don't trust it. I won't go any further than that, but just learn it, please. Learn the knowledge. It's important that a lot of people should know this, but you will see through a lot of smoke, there's a lot of bullshit. You will see through it.
Exactly. And as you were just saying right there, this knowledge definitely does have different layers of impact when it comes to your life. And before we leave, I just want to I'm gonna tap in with the chat real quick and say that shout out to Chris Sosa. He says salute to you and Dre. Blessings from Bamboo Soldier to Victor and Dre, everyone in the building. Khalif Williams definitely says salute to everybody. Dayon DCB asks if does Dre have a YouTube channel or something? At the moment, I don't think he does have a YouTube channel,
No.
but we may have some things working in the future. So just stay tuned. But yes, as you guys can see, Dre is a very intellectual guy, great personality, and trust me, we're gonna get him on YouTube. We're gonna get a show up and running at some point, and definitely gonna be some things to look forward to. So Rick James also says salute to says hello to Dre and everybody in the building. Thank you guys for stopping. Thank you guys for showing respect and showing love to my guests. Um, really appreciate that. And again, we're bringing more and more exclusive content. Hopefully, you guys love this, flipping the script series where we tap in with the actual members of the community, the people on the front lines, the people making the plays, the people paying the bills. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was only right that I started it off. One of my close and personal friends, Dre, and as he said, we touched base about a year ago on the heels of the national championship game, and it's only right that our first show is on the heels of this 2022 national championship game.
Perfect timing, bro. Like it's crazy how the universe works.
Exactly. So whenever we doubt the universe and the things that are going on, it always speaks directly back to us and lets us know that we're doing the right things, right? So I definitely want to say one more time, salute to you, Dre. I appreciate you, and you're doing really great things. And I look forward to some of the things that you're going to be able to do in the future. And I appreciate you being a member of not just my team and my inner circle, but just a friend that I've been able to call that for a very long time. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us. I wish you a successful rest of your month, rest of your week, and we're gonna tap in real soon.
Yeah, definitely. Just shout out, Victor and the whole community, man. Just peace and blessings, man. Let's continue to build. Let's continue to be successful. The time is now.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And as he said, man, we're on a limited time right now. So while the iron's hot and while we're able to take advantage of this, we definitely want to attack, man. So following in the footsteps of my man Dre and myself and what we've been able to do so far. And I'll see you guys next time. And if you want to give your Instagram, so people can follow you, just if you want to, if you want to, if not, it's all right.
Okay, yeah. My Instagram is _ Choi Fun. And on follow that for now because I am gonna make another page when I start up, my Patreon, and there's gonna be another page just for sports betting information like that. So definitely follow _ Choi Fun. You'll get the information for when I start my next.
All right, cool, no problem. So yeah, I I implore you guys to support the gentlemen. Continue to support us in what we're doing because we're giving out knowledge to the people, something that's very beneficial, something that we don't have to do, but we feel implored to do just to better society and just have people take advantage of some of the things we've been able to take advantage. We're just paying it forward. We're doing our part to pay it forward. And if you want to take advantage of it, it's completely up to you, right? So, on that note, enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Once again, Dre, I'll salute to you. We'll talk in real soon. And yeah, man, continue to kill it.
Definitely.
Congrats, brother.
Peace. One love, y'all.
All right.